So if you find yourself always doing everything with the same level of energy, like you're attacking your to-do list, wanting to make sure everything is perfect. So maybe you're that stickler, you're that perfectionist, you're that hyperachiever that is looking to do everything with the most highest level of excellence. And even though it feels like a badge of honor, it's also like driving you crazy. This is the video for you. So I coach a lot of clients that are high achieving women, leaders in their community, leaders in their organizations, and they tend to come to me about time management issues or feeling like they are overwhelmed by all the things that are on their plate. And the problem is they're trying to do it all with the same level of energy, with the same level of zest. And so a lot of them find that it's really helpful when I teach them about this tool that you can use to help you really redefine what is really what you need to be putting all your eggs in the basket with, all your energy around, and what things you need to just make good enough. And this is the tool. You've probably heard of it, but I'm going to give you some ways to think about it so that you can readjust how you're spending your time and your energy. And this is the 80-20 rule. And you've probably heard of the 80-20 rule in a lot of different ways. People talk about it around dating, people talking about it around relationships a lot. But this 80-20 rule is something that I've learned through positive intelligence. I'm a positive intelligence coach, and so this is one of the tools that we use to help people really tap into that positive emotion part of them, that curiosity, and the sage part of you that can help you get yourself out of the negative emotions that is causing you to look for validation, to look for security through being a stickler or someone that is considered a high achiever or a hyperachiever. And a lot of times we are doing these things for validation outside of ourselves, or to feel safe and secure, like, oh, I don't want to get fired, so I need to be perfect, I need to get all these things right so people don't look at me differently. And especially if you're a woman of color, I feel like Black women specifically, that sometimes we find ourselves worried about what non-Black people think about us in the workspace, especially when we're in leadership roles. And that's come from a lot of constructs from society, from how a lot of us have been raised to make sure that we're working super hard so nobody is ever questioning what we're like. And it does something to our psyche and makes us feel this kind of like this obligatory feeling of having to do everything perfect, and there's really no such thing as perfection, and looking at others for their approval. And so I want to help you get out of that approval gap and use this tool so that you can calm your nervous system, really get yourself back to neutral so that you can have more ease and flow at work and be in control of your life and not look for other people to affirm you in order to feel good about what you're doing. So the way that I instruct people to use this 80-20 rule is just consider what are the things that truly are the things that require a lot of your attention. So when you think about decisions like buying a house, for instance, when you buy a house, yes, it needs attention. It's a big purchase decision. So you get to look at the market, you get to look at the neighborhood, you get to look at the structure of the house, you get to decide like, hey, is my property value gonna go up? Is this a good investment? There are a lot of things that go into buying property or buying an asset. Because of that level of thinking, you may need to cross the T's, dot the I's, take that extra level of focus that you would normally take on something that is important, because there are a lot of things to consider. But sometimes we put buying a house level energy into every single thing, and that is not necessary. It's not necessary for you to put buying a house level energy as the example into an email, or into how you're going to say something to someone, or into how you're dressing for the day, just to be some examples. It's not that those things aren't important, but sometimes we put an enormous amount of energy that turns into anxiety around making something perfect and not having any loopholes, because we're worried about being validated, we're worried about security. And so we have to calm our nervous systems, and one way to do that is to put things in these buckets. What are the 20% of things that actually matter for your attention and for your energy to be buying house level energy. I'm just using that as an example because you know what I mean. You get to identify what are those things. Maybe it is, okay, when I'm preparing for board meetings, that's when I have buying my house level energy. When I am working on a project that is aligned to mission and a big part of revenue in our business, that's when I have that buying the house level energy. My whole point in doing this activity with the clients that I'm working with is to really help them see that everything that's on your to-do list does not require that house buying energy. It doesn't require it. Only a few things actually require that energy, and those are the few things that you should put that energy on, and that's 20%. 20% of the things that you're doing really require that energy. Everything else is the 80%, and it just needs to be good enough. This does not be mediocre. And let me explain this. I serve women like you that are high achieving, they're used to doing things in excellence. They not no mediocre. They not basic. They not trying to do anything mediocre. But there is power in something that's called sufficing in positive psychology. And so in my studies of positive psychology, sufficing is a term that is used that really just describes how can you do things that are sufficient and can suffice for what is actually the task at hand. Like, it doesn't have to be perfect, it really can be good enough. And that's what that 80% is for. It's really for sufficing. I talk about this in my book, Get Your Life Today, the power of sufficing, because I have been that person that would overthink and overanalyze trying to have the perfect outcome in every situation. I want to have the perfect vacation, so I'm going to spend hours and hours and hours trying to find the best hotels, the best restaurants, the best everything. And again, maybe if I'm creating an experience for my paid clients, yes, I want to create as great an experience as possible. And even for myself, because maybe this is like, I want to treat myself, I want to have the best experience possible, but at some point we have to decide what is going to suffice, because life is finite. Let's just be real. And we only have a limited amount of time to do so many things. And in our minds, we think we can do everything, and we can do everything that we desire, but this makes us have to get really clear on what do you actually desire? What is actually important? Because everything can't be important. It really shows our mortality when we talk about wanting to do everything all the time, because it's almost making us feel like, oh, I have so many things to do, but it's like, you really don't. You're not allowing yourself to get clear because you know you don't have enough time to do everything. And sometimes it scares the dickens out of us to consider that, you know what, I'm not going to be able to visit every country. I'm not going to be able to work at 1,000 different companies in my lifetime. I'm not going to be able to have every single experience that life has to offer. But you know what? You can experience a lot of amazing things when you decide what those important things are. So the same thing that goes to your workday. You're going to be that amazing employee, that amazing CEO. You're going to be that amazing person anyway, because that's just who you are. What's the point in expending a whole bunch of energy with this proving behind it versus just walking in who you know you are and doing the things that actually require the energy that is housed by energy, and not doing it for everything, because then it leaves you burnt out. You got a life outside of this, woman. I already know, girl, you got other stuff to do. So you don't got time to be spending all your energy on everything in your professional life, and leaving your personal life with less energy, leaving the people that you say you know and love with less of you because you're putting so much into the other things. So use this 80-20 rule, use this tool. I want you to work on this today. Consider what are 20% of the things that actually require this house buying energy. It really requires your attention. And block the time to do those things in that excellence, and don't overstuff this list. Listen, it's only 20% of the things that you are actually doing that actually go there. And you can do this for your professional life and your personal life. I think it's great when you can do both. But because most people that come to me usually are concerned about their professional life, that's why I'm telling you what I'm telling you. And then think about those 80% things and allow yourself to make the necessary shifts and relax, so that you can suffice in those areas. Do what is efficient, do what is good enough, do what suffices for the moment, and not put so much of your energy in it. And actually allow yourself to enjoy those things for what they are. I think that this has been something that has been like eye-opening for me, because I've done this, I played around with this. I do a lot of like experiments in my personal life doing this. And so I've done this with restaurants. I am a foodie. I love food. I hate not having a great food experience. So I would just, especially when I was traveling a lot for work, I travel a lot now, but when I was traveling more for work, I was always like going to Google and spending like an hour, you all. I know that sounds excessive, but this is where I was at. Judge me. I would spend like an hour or what have you looking up places to eat. Because I wanted to have the most amazing experience, and I didn't eat everything. I'm vegan right now with an asterisk. Sometimes I have salmon, less than 5 times a year. You judge me, that's my definition. But the point is, I would always try to find like amazing eating places. And when I was a pescatarian, I always wanted to have the most amazing seafood, all the things. So I would spend an enormous amount of time. So when I started practicing this practice, I started with restaurants because I knew that that was an area, even though it's an area of satisfaction for me, I don't want all my time. I would be annoyed with myself, like, girl, why are we spending an hour on this? And so I would force myself to say, whatever comes up in this city, I'm going there first. Or if I was at a hotel, whatever the concierge tells me to go to, that's where I'm going. I would start cutting it down, and that's Soft Life CEO energy. I talk a lot about being a Soft Life CEO. I love coaching women on being that Soft Life CEO of their life, not just in business, but just of their life. Why do I feel like I have to be the one to research everything, and it's like my opinion and research that is the best and matters most? It's like, you know what, let me lean on trusting what others say about something and go on there, and then I can go on their recommendation, and then when I get there, I can decide if I like it or not. But you know what, I had an experience. I allow myself to be in an experience, and whether I liked it or not is fine, but I didn't have to try to shield myself from not having the best experience possible. And some of us are trying to shield ourselves from not having the best experience possible in every single thing in our lives. And sometimes it's some beauty in just being like, oh, I didn't really like that, but you know what, my host was cool. I had, a great, appetizer with the person that I was with, and we had a great conversation. Everything doesn't have to be on making everything perfect, because that's not life. So if you like this video, which I'm sure you did if you're still here, go ahead and click like, comment, all the things. And if you want to show up as a different woman, you want to show up with someone with softness, with powerfulness, that is confident about who they are, confident about what life looks like for them, and you are already that woman, but you haven't quite seen her appear in your everyday life, then you need to click below, because I have a course coming out called Future Her. And Future Her is about stepping into who you see yourself being now. It's not out yet, but you get a sneak peek by getting one or two of the videos that I've already created for it. So go ahead and click below so that you can not only get the free sneak peek, but then you can get the heads up when the course actually comes out. So until the next time, I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Bye.